This is the heaviest podcast. Let's go!
What is up?
What's
It's the
going
Heavyist podcast, weekly worship at the altar of, well, dadness now. We're dadding.
Damn it, that was going to be my first joke and you've already stolen it. Oh,
There's not too many, Gary. They're just right there, aren't they? We've just both got a similar.
We're on the same
small
page,
mind.
mate. We're on the same page. How you doing?
Yeah.
How are you, man? It's good to see
Mate,
you. It's weird.
It's
like,
really good to see you, bro.
I don't want to say
Thank you.
that this child of yours has come between our friendship, Sonny, but I feel like I haven't heard from you, man.
I know, dude. I know. It's he really is driving that wedge, isn't he? Nice and early, the bastard.
Little sod.
Nice.
Man. How you doing? You good?
I'm doing great, mate. I'm doing really, really great. It's been a really crazy time. It's been, when did we last record? Probably 3 weeks ago now?
Yeah, I think
Maybe
it was 3 weeks
even
ago. That was 3. I'm pretty sure it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. And to be fair, I just haven't really kept up with anything for anyone.
I mean, that's perfectly understandable.
It's been a phenomenal, lovely, weird, cool, beautiful, brilliant, mental time. It's been really, really cool. He's asleep. I was gonna just have him there, like for when we came in. I thought it'd just be funny to start, just like hold him there. I don't know.
Hold him there. Maybe
Just
make it
it
look
might
like
have
he
been
was talking
fun.
into the microphone.
Yeah, but he's absolutely KO'd. That would have been better, wouldn't it, if I just held him?
Yeah,
like
just held him like that. Like Simba on Pride Rock.
that would have been nice. But
You
no,
gotta
he's
let him
asleep.
sleep. You can't wake him up. That's bad juju. You can't be doing that.
Mate, he was so asleep a bit ago. Well, I had him on me. I didn't want to. Jolene did the bed sheets solo. That's mental.
Well, it's not that
'cause I
mental.
was
I do the
asleep on
bed sheets solo all the time.
I was about to say, there are some people that do it solo, and I know.
I mean, I'm sure it'd be easier with two people.
But I mean, the first time you did it, I bet it was mental.
one corner, and then I have to run to the other corner, and then the first corner pops up again. Yeah, that is sometimes I have to weight it down, put something on it. I have to use like instead of a person, I use like the washing basket or something. So yeah, I understand it would be a lot easier with two people. Oh, he's got a beer. Look at him with his beer.
I've only had maybe 1 or 2 beers since he's been alive. I treated myself to one last night, listening to one of the phenomenal albums we were about to be talking about in the garden, just enjoying some rare solitude. Mate, everything's great. He's doing great. You have like loads of appointments with midwives and bits and bobs, and they ask you the same questions all the time. They ask you the same questions so often, to make sure you're not like shaking him and things like that, that's probably a good idea, really.
Yeah, it's probably a wise move. Yeah.
Yeah. There are a few things that are worth asking a couple of times. But he's doing really great. Yeah, he's putting on weight. All the business came out a very healthy way. I think we're finding quite a nice routine.
Cool.
He's
You
great,
still off work?
I'm off work. I'm going back Tuesday because we've got the bank holiday, haven't we, coming?
Yeah, bank holiday Monday.
So yeah, when sort of all got a bit more normal in the last few days, that's why I was like, right, I reckon I could probably muster some minutes to myself to get some ear rolls around some riffs because I've not really been listening to too much, other than like when I've sort of grabbed a little bit of time here or there. And I've been listening to that Monstrosity album loads that I sent you. It's so good.
Awesome. An album from the 90s, I think it was, wasn't it?
Exactly. And yeah, officially, I finally listened to Archangel. I don't know what I've been doing in my life. I've been listening to them loads as well. They're also from the 90s.
You've been doing the same thing as me because I don't think I've ever listened to them before.
You really should, because you'll realise
Yeah.
how many bands that we should have been saying they sound like Archangel, and we're just. It's fantastic.
This like go back however many years it was when we first discovered it too, and we were like, okay.
What? That's not all the bands we like.
Okay, yeah,
yeah. That's been good. So yeah, yeah.
Been managing to get out and about, or have you kind of been?
I've been right out and about. Yeah, Jolene, like, she was like, "Oh, I don't think I'm not going to plan to go out for like the first week." After like the second day, we went out for a little walk around the park.
Oh, that's cool.
So no, she's doing really well. We've been able to snatch some time. Babies do love going for a walk. I mean, I know that's probably not a headline worthy.
Wow.
But pop him in the pram, go for a stroll. He's literally asleep the entire time, all the time, at his age at the minute. So that's quite nice. That's where I've been mostly stealing my riffs, just strutting around the streets, going like that, mostly. Trying to hold on to him with one hand, I guess.
Oh dear, yeah, we'll get onto that. But how's
that's
Aussie
a nice shirt, Gary. What is
that? Do you
that?
like it? It's my new one. It's a Grove Mind one.
That's nice.
I couldn't resist. I saw it and it had hot pink on it, and it made me feel like all nostalgic. So I was like, yeah, I'm having one of them. Hot pink.
I love it.
It's got some sort of like Greek god looking fella on it. I thought it was cool. So I was, yeah,
I like it, and I really like your I like your Kevin Smith approved Oilers hat as well.
Yeah, man. It's Bubbles, his team, isn't it? Gretzky, the great one. That's where he started, right?
That's the
Before
man.
He went to the Red Wings. Is that right? I don't know enough about hockey
Yeah,
to start talking about this.
I mean, I only know it because like Kevin Smith used to go on about Gretzky all the time.
Yeah. It's Bubbles. That's why I know about it from Trailer Park Boys when he's a full kit wanker. He's in his proper like Oilers gear. But yeah, it's a beaut, isn't it? It's a beaut. Yeah, how's Aussie coping with him? Is he all right?
Really, really well. Yeah, couldn't ask for more really at the moment. It was obviously very sort of imposed upon initially. He was like, "What have you brought here?"
I can imagine.
There's this thing in my house.
It makes
he's really great.
He smells funny.
He was rather inquisitive, and he will steal a lick of the toes when he can. But you know, I guess the thing that you don't want is him going up to him and constantly and getting in his face and licking his face. And so far, there's been 0 licks on face because we've been very vigilant with it. But it's just a bit inquisitive. Initially, he was like a bit like when he was like making noises, when he was sort of having a bit of a grumble or like, you know, showing signs of fatigue. Or that he needed a feed. Ozzy just really didn't know how to deal with the crying. He was like, Ozzy was almost started crying. He was like, he was empathizing with him.
Yeah, he's empathizing with his little brother. That's what it is.
It was a bit. He didn't really like it and didn't really know what to deal with it. But he's sort of got used to it now, and he's not a massive crier. We've been quite lucky, I think, so far.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ozzy's been great. Couldn't ask for more. Very quite respectful. Like when we tell him to move away or like whatever, and like quite often, like sometimes we'll like sit on the bed and we'll all be on the bed, but Ozzy will be like sat down the bottom. He doesn't like, you know, come up and get in his business, like which is exactly what you don't want.
What a good lad.
Yes, a rather respectable fellow so far.
Oh, excellent. Oh, I'm really pleased for you, man. I'm glad everything's going well.
Thank you, bro.
I can see you've bypassed a haircut where you've been busy as well.
Yeah, I've got a haircut booked in for tomorrow.
I can see you get a bit raggedy around the back.
Do you know what? I was going to have a shave before we started, but I literally napped till 10:02. I had a little moment of time. He'd fallen asleep, and I was like, I got about 35 minutes to get a good solid nap in.
Or I could have a kip. Yeah, kip's
I
weird
could
every
shave.
time.
I could make myself look slightly less dishevelled for the
mate.
sake of the video format. But maybe that, you know, there wouldn't be any truth in that, Gary. Cause,
yeah, that's it. That's it. This is real life, people. This is real life.
How are you, mate?
Wondering.
What's going on?
I'm all right. I've had me garden done up. Looks great.
Ooh,
We've had a couple of barbecues. Have been entertaining me family and that, so that's been really
fantastic.
cool. Yeah, mate. It's not as exciting as having a baby or nothing, but it's pretty cool dealing with.
Can you advise on the riff soundtracks to the grilling?
Dude.
Actually, I did see that you were smashing
see
Little
it?
Albert.
How did we miss the fact that Little Albert put out a new album this
I
year?
knew there was an album. I
it's
should have told
amazing.
you. Yeah, it's great.
So good. The introduction of like brass and woodwind, genius. Absolutely genius.
He's king, isn't he?
He's absolute legend. Yeah, the new Little Albert album. I've been listening to that a lot, and I've been digging into the older All Them Witches records. I was just in that mood to have some sort of like chill bluesy kind of stuff going on. I also listened to some Nick put on some barbecue hits playlist, and it was basically just like reggae music, so that was interesting. Apparently that's what people were used to listening to when they're barbecuing.
Hell yeah.
Past the dutchie on the left hand side. Yeah, man. I had some good old Ron's meat, some sick
fantastic
ribs,
big up Ron Reeves.
Big up Ron Reeves. Hold
One
tight.
day we'll get that sponsorship from Ron Reeves.
Motherfucker's going to sponsor the podcast, mate. He better do. The amount of free publicity he gets to loads of people who don't live anywhere near his shop and therefore will never attend. Yeah, other than that, mate, just cracking on with the old life ski. Just
the old life ski.
Pretty much.
Love it.
Do you remember when we caused a furore a few years back with Hoover Chat?
Oh, mate, what are we talking? What you got?
I discovered that mine's broken.
Oh.
Luckily, it has a 10-year warranty. Big up yourselves, Shark. Got a new replacement head for it. Vacuumed the living room. I filled up 3 tanks with Jamie's hair. I swear, man. I hoovered up an entire Jamie off of the floor. I swear down. I don't know how that dog molts so much and stays the same. He's like a snake, mate. He's shedding his entire skin. It's
mental because he's not even got long hair.
No, he's got short hair. But it just
he looks like a dog that you wouldn't necessarily need to that molts. It's mental.
That's what I thought when I saw pictures of him. Turns out I was bloody wrong.
He's a genetic anomaly.
So much hair. It's ridiculous. I think he's like losing his winter coat, and it'll just be in time for the winter where he'll get it all back again.
Nice. How is the J dog?
He's doing all right, mate. He's doing all right. He's I've been training with him a lot. Been working on trying to get him to walk better.
Yeah,
he walks. Yeah, he's doing really well. He walks with like a slack lead. He can walk to heel and stuff, and he's reacting a lot less.
Brilliant. That's amazing, mate.
Yeah,
you've done all of that, so fucking well.
Yeah,
done.
mate. I've had to put a lot of grind into getting it to the point where it is. He used to react to literally everything. Like he'd lunge at cars, he'd lunge at every person we pass, bikes, motorbikes, inanimate objects. Like, mate, he was just after everything, and he's got to the point now where the only thing he reacts to is other dogs. So I feel
That's
like I'm
right.
taking that as a win, and now I've just got to try to figure out how to get across that next hurdle of reacting to the other dogs. But
amazing.
I think I might just need better treats. I think that's probably what it is. I need to just start giving him some like foie gras or something like that. Something high value. That's what they mean when they say high value treats, right? Expensive ones.
Yeah. I have a little bit of beluga caviar.
Yeah, absolutely. Dogs love a bit of caviar. That'll sort it right out. Kobe beef. Although Kobe beef would probably work, to be fair, because that would be sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For a dog, imagine getting a bit of Kobe. Ooh, happy days. Oh, man. Yeah, that's kind of. I've just not really been up to a great deal. It's been really hot. But, me and Nicola have been trying to like just not drink and reduce the amount of money we're spending because we spent so much money on doing up the garden and that. So I've just been kind of keeping it quite low key.
Keeping it pretty static.
Yeah, man. Just before we start talking about any new music, I just wanted to say thanks to the people who've still been like checking us out while we've not been doing any new content. Hopefully, we've picked up quite a few subs and had quite a few people viewing our videos. The Fortress vlog is still very popular. People still enjoying that.
Oh, that's great. That's fantastic.
Cool. So yeah, if someone who's like subscribed and gone like, what's going on? Where's the new videos? Like, Sonny had a baby, people. Well, not Sonny personally, but Sonny was part of the process of having a baby. So, you know, cut him some slack, and we'll be here as often as we can be. I'm sure there'll be some like bits and pieces of life that might potentially get in the way.
I'm fully sort of gonna try, and I reckon we can give it a good old crack at going back to the regular schedule from now on. We'll see.
We got some meaty stuff in the calendar for the next couple of months, so you're gonna have to. I don't know. You're gonna have to get a babysitter for October, mate, because it's gonna be riff apocalypse. It's gonna be absolutely ridiculous. How much?
Well, the good thing is, like I say, he loves a good walk, so. If I don't have much time to myself, I will definitely at least be able to take him for a walk and
you'll just be walking marathons with the pushchair around Portsmouth, just doing absolute miles. Generally, like, where are you? Sonny, you've been gone 3 hours. What's going on? We're like, I'm listening to Nails again, love. Sorry.
Yeah. The funny thing is, though, we chose a good week to return because it was like an hour-long album. So like finding any time whatsoever was hard, and then finding the time to listen to this like multiple times was like mental.
Worth it.
But it's been such a fucking treat, mate.
Oh, mate, right. Let's get into it, dude. Let's get into it. It's a good week. It's a good week for the first week back because you can get your son praising Ra nice and early. That's right, people. We're talking about Nile. Nile are the technical death metal band from South Carolina. Carolina. Just realized that was a complete by accident, but that's pretty sick. That's what they should rename it after this bloody album, I'll tell you. This album, the new album is called The Underworld Awaits Us All. It is out on Friday the 23rd of August through Century Media, and it is their 10th studio album, which is absolutely mad. And I know, like you're the Nile guy, right? You go back. You love this band. Just before we start talking about this record itself, like, did the prospect of a new Nile record excite you? Because you know, there's not often that a band's 10th album will be their best album. Was it? I don't know. Is there an example of that ever being the case? I don't think that there is. And I know how much you love like Annihilation of the Wicked, and I worry like when one of your favorite bands who's been around a long time releases a new album, you get like 3 tracks in and go, I could just be listening to Annihilation of the Wicked. Like, what am I doing? So were you excited about the prospect of a new Nile record?
Yeah. So they're a band that I've always enjoyed, and I have enjoyed immensely so, like more in the last like 4 years. Like they've like sort of come back into the rotation basically when we moved into our old house. One of the first days I had there, like I was stripping wallpaper off a wall, right? And I didn't know what to put on. I had my loudspeaker with me. No one else was in the house. It was just me, and I was just getting bits done. And I was like, it's been a while. Let's stick on Nile. And I listened to Annihilation of the Wicked like 3 times in a row. It was that good. And I completely was just reawoken to the band. And that was like after Vile Necrotic Rites came out. So I've always like been like Annihilation of the Wicked, like that's always been like my absolute go-to with them. But you know, the other albums, like Those Who the Gods Detest, that's always been a good favorite as well. But I'm not massively well versed in the rest of them because they're so long and so sort of, I think they really sort of, you know, Annihilation is the peak one. And there's quite a lot of them. But that's cool. Yeah, Those Are the Gods Detest, In Their Darkened Shrines, like they're always really good. Like, and so I hadn't really listened to Vile Necrotic Rites like very much. That came out in 2019, and I've since been listening to it in the last few years after its release, and it's fantastic as well. You get they're such a brilliantly consistent band.
That's cool.
And Vile Necrotic Rites sounds fucking brilliant. That when there was new Nile coming, I was really in the pocket for him because I've just been having my own sort of like Nile renaissance like within myself. So I was over the moon for this.
Oh, awesome. Well, there's been a bit of, if you go on Twitter or whatever, there's a bit of a rhetoric online that this is Nile's best album in 20 years. I think Annihilation of the Wicked came out in 2006. So let's say that people have rounded up from 18 years, right? So I am here.
I thought it was 2000. I think it's 5 or 4.
Oh,
I'd
I'd look before, but it's 2006. But yeah, it was splitting hairs. But like, I am here as a person who, unlike you, has not really dug into Nile and their back catalogue. And this is a public service announcement to let everybody know: don't be scared of a band with a massive discography. Listen to this album, because this album is absolutely fucking phenomenal. This album is so fucking good. Like, I thought I knew what Nile sounded like just from like the bits and pieces that I'd listened to and just the kind of the aesthetic. And I was like, well, I know, you know, they do the Phrygian scale, and they talk about like Egyptian gods a lot, and they play a lot of blast beats. All right, I know what Nile sound like. But I was like, that's about 5% of it. I think like that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, this album is so damn good. Like, Death Metal is a ridiculously hotly contested album of the year category this year, and it's only going to get worse as the year goes on with the stuff we've got coming out.
Yeah.
And I really there was no part of me that thought that Nile was going to be on my radar for releasing the best death metal album this year, but holy shit, dude. I fucking love this record. I think this record is out of this world good. Like, I'm so bang into it. Like, yeah,
I love it.
Praise Ra, mate.
Praise Ra, brother.
Praise Ra.
Oh, mate, that's so good to hear, man. I'm so stoked that you're into it. Like, you got to think, right? Carl Sanders is 61. Like, that's the same age as James Hetfield, right? Like, dudes that are 61 do not like make one of the hardest albums of the year.
They should not. That's just unfair. He's like almost twice my age. I've never been able to shred this hard. What the fuck?
Yeah.
He's 61.
He's 61,
That's
mate.
Absolutely
and he is
mental. Fair play to the dude.
Smashing the absolute shit out of it. Yeah, this album is absolutely fantastic. It's such a... It feels like it's so immersive, and it's so it's almost like performance art as opposed to like listening to a track by track album, isn't it? It's like sitting down and listening to a movie as opposed to, you know, just listening to a regular record. It's absolutely massive. Every time I enter this world or ancient Egypt, I just never want to return to modern life.
No, I'm with you. Mate, it's just bonkers.
It's massive. It's fantastically pummeling. It's brutal. It's technical. It's incredibly dynamic as well. And I feel like the things are saying that like this is the best album for 20 years. Like, I think they're bang on the money. Like, there's parts in like Nile's back catalogue where there could potentially be a bit more filler. You know, the sort of like the interlude moments and those sort of really cool little parts. Like, there's times in their career where those could have been really expanded and got a bit waffly and you know, sort of taken the bite out of things at some point. But I feel like it's really, really honed in on this record. You know, for an album that goes on as long as it does, it just does not relent. Really, it's fucking fantastic.
No, there's like the perfect amount of it sprinkled into like to help with the world building, but it is mostly just go. Like, I mean, like you were saying up front though, like it is dynamic. Like, it's not. What I was expecting was just constant blast beats and just really hard, fast, chaotic. Like, but I really underestimated how absolutely crazy levels of groove there would be going on in this band, like, and how dynamic they were tempo wise. Maybe not necessarily volume wise, but who cares about that volume wise? We just want it at 11 the whole time, right?
Yeah.
But like, obviously, it's a technical masterclass. But you know, we talk all the time about how technical bands, their music it can be really easy to just fall flat. But this is so like, it's so full of life. It's so like it conveys a message, obviously the message being, I don't know, whatever, fuck you Tutankhamun or whatever it is, but like it feels like, it feels passionate, it feels energetic, it feels human, it feels real, despite what it's kind of all about and how it's all, I guess it's about the human experience of some kind, just one from a long time ago, but
it's you know, it's the underworld awaits us all. It's like it's about like that death is not...
It's to do with the Book of the Dead, isn't it? I don't know too much about the background of it, but...
I think it's like these like gods and warriors and stuff that like even like the gods are like cannot escape death, and that's like sort of what happens in the story. Like there's it's like everything ends up in the underworld, like even these sort of divine beings and shit.
That's cool.
It's
That's
fucking
cool.
brilliant, violent groove. It's grotesque. It's so hard. This thing rules.
It's bonkers. George Colliers, right?
Mate.
Like I was fully aware of George Colliers outside of the band, just from like being well into watching drummers on YouTube. Like there's a really cool video, which I don't know if anyone's seen, of him going from doing like 210 BPM up to 280 BPM. And I always like, in my head, I always remember where he does that, like, you know, like the swiveling ankles double kick pedal move, which makes you move quicker. Yeah, where you where you shift your ankles as you do it. Like that's always like whenever I see somebody do that, I'm like, that's the Nile drumming. That's how the guy from Nile drums. Even though I've not really been a big like listener to the band, that's always just been in my mind. Like that's how Nile drums. And so I've been aware of this guy, but you just listen to this record, and this has got one of the most incredible drum performances I've ever heard.
Yes,
like
it is stupid.
It's mad. Like the guy never does the obvious thing. Like he will, you know, he'll blast over heavy stuff, but when stuff goes slow or groovy, he will always find like the kind of the path of most resistance. Like he just does stuff that, you know, he does stuff no one would ever think. You have to just be programmed a different way to come up with those drum beats. Like, and it's sometimes when drummers do that, you can kind of, it's incredible, but you kind of want, I was like, where's the backbeat? Like, where's just the, you know, I just want to be able to nod my head, but it doesn't matter with what he does. He finds a way to pull it all together to create that solid backbeat at the same time as doing something absolutely mad. Absolutely. I can understand, like, he's one of the most respected drummers in all of death metal because he's incredible, and the performance on this is so good. Yeah. And then obviously you've got like 3 guitarists as well, which helps to just create, like, you know, there's plenty of bands out there with 3 guitarists, but there's not a lot of bands who need 3 guitarists. But I feel like Nile actually make the most out of it. And
yeah. Because they're like, right, it's your solo now. Now it's my solo.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to shred over there. I'm going to do this.
Absolutely.
Like, there's so much going on. You actually gain something from 3 guitarists rather than just like sometimes it just serves to make the band like much heavier.
Yeah,
like, it's not that at all.
Like, off the top of my head, like Whitechapel have 3 guitarists, but they basically all play the same thing, but they're just doing it to make everything really, really, really heavy. And I understand that, but like, you know, there's loads of moments throughout the record where you've got like one guitarist essentially playing rhythm, doing the chunky stuff, and then you get like harmonized lead parts from the other 2, and it just works perfectly. It just creates something so cool. It's just sometimes it kind of gets hard to articulate the way that it just makes you feel. And they come up with just like these really weird riffs. Like they have this little trick that they do where they'll write like a 4-bar groove and then they'll add a 5th bar to it that's kind of against the groove, but it just kind of makes everything feel a little bit complicated without being too complicated that you lose track of what's happening. It's just that little bit to just kind of throw you off, and it works so well. And then you've got Carl over the top, and he, you know, you've got one of the most in the pocket bands ever, and then you've got Carl doing vocals over the top that are really kind of out of the pocket, where he's sort of just kind of meandering around over the top of what's going on, and it just makes everything feel gives it that extra level of sort of mysticism and kind of makes it feel more sinister and arcane, the way that he's almost like shamanically kind of like not chanting's the wrong word, but like it's like he's delivering a fucked up sermon over the top of the riffs. Like it's so exciting. It's such an interesting way to just it's so cool. It's just so cool.
It's just so cool, mate.
It's just so cool.
It's brilliant. Like, you know, there's a lot of like really, there's long tracks on it, but there's not too many long tracks. It's a long album. It's 11 tracks. There's a couple of longer ones down the back end of the album, but then there's a lot that sort of sit in the 4 or 5 minute realm.
Yeah,
and then there's To Strike with Secret
Strike
Fang.
with
That's
Secret
like
Fang, dude.
that's
Exactly.
like a 2-minute Black and Death ripper.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Riff storm.
It's so cool. It's so
just
much
distilled
happens in that
Nile.
like tiny little like. I think it might even be. I've written it down. It's 1 minute and 19 seconds, so it's not even. It's really, really short, but so much happens in that song. It's amazing, and you're right. The blackened flourish and that sort of the kind of melodic tremolo stuff that's going on over the top to give it that kind of black metal aura about it. Like it's so cool. There's like the first. I mean,
Mate.
every track is incredible. Go on, I'm just babbling at this point.
Mate, the what I really like is like the emphasis on those like sung parts that pop out.
They're cool, aren't they?
So like you've had moments like that on previous Nile records, but I feel like they've been a lot more understated than they are in this. In this, they're really sort of over the top, and they're always sort of singing like a really cool hook that's completely relevant to the song title, and it gives you like, you know, when songs are so sort of chaotic and brutal, you need these sort of like little footholds, and I really think that that's going to help these tracks like just translate live so much better. And like that, so that comes in, I think, about like Nakada 2, which is like after this fucking brilliant solo section, then it's the first one of them, and it's like it almost sounds like it's like sort of mummies as backup singers. Like that's what it is in my head. Like in my head, it's like mummies at the side of the stage, like 3 of them stood there, like
you know, like how Sleeptoe can have like the 3 like faceless like women as the backing singers. They just have like people like dressed as mummies in the background doing like shining light of ra, like doing like and so cool.
These moments like that they've really sort of enhanced. They really add to the sort of spectacle of it all, like to the grandiosity of it all. It fits into place so seamlessly, and they're always like these really hooky moments, and it just adds this extra level to this already incredibly vibrant world. But you've got almost like they're like sort of narrators, or it's like, you know, it's like a battle's going on and there's like a fucking big head, like a big title that comes over the top.
This is going to sound like a mental comparison, but have you ever seen Disney's Hercules?
Oh mate, not for years. But it used to be like, sick. The PlayStation game was sick.
That's a classic. But there's like this, like I can't remember what they're called. They're like a chorus, and they kind of narrate the film with these big songs as they kind of go along, and it's almost like the Egyptian like evil version of that. Like that was a weird comparison, but it just pops into my head.
Makes total sense. Like. They're so refined on this record. I feel like there's like that Under the Curse of the One God. Like there's the outro on that, and like there's times in their career where that could be way longer, and it's really, but in this it's really succinct and immersive and creates like an intro to the next track, but it never really outstays its welcome. Oh
man, that song, that's the one with the like it's that boom, that riff, and then they take it to acoustic guitar with the war drums, and that whole ending is like, it's such an interesting twist and an interesting way to take like the heaviest riff of the song and turn it into this kind of freaky acoustic tribal kind of vibe. Like I think that's probably my favorite track on the record, Under the Curse of the One God. I think that song's absolutely epic. It's so cool.
Mate, the song that made me smile the most the first time I heard it is True Gods of the Desert. That song is such a switch up, mate. It's got this big, low, dirty riff that almost sounds like fucking like stompy, curled lip James Hetfield in fucking Justice for All era. Yeah. Like it's got a proper sort of bluesy sort of stomp to it, and it's
so good.
It's so cool. It's like
so good.
It adds this extra sort of energy to the record, which is already phenomenal, and you're already completely in. You're already like, everything they're going to do is going to make me happy from this moment on. And you get this, which is quite a different track for them, and it's fantastic. It's such a proper like decrepit, bone-crunching stomper, mate. I just love it.
Smoking pharaoh bones while you're listening to that.
Innit?
You know, like, and like that song's got one of the most prime examples of what I was talking about with the drumming, where like it's got the really hard like drum beat that you would expect over that bit, but then when it shifts and comes back around the second time, he does that weird like, over the top of it. Like, it's so cool when you hear something that subverts your expectations like that. Like, obviously I've listened to heavy music for most of my life at this point, and it's not very often that a band can surprise you. Like, a lot of genres do have their tropes and their things that happen, and you kind of get to a point where you expect, and then when someone does something that you weren't ready, you see a lot of stuff coming. And when someone does something that you weren't ready for, it makes you feel really good. And you're like 3/4 away through this really mad technical death metal record, and then this big bluesy, doomy, stonery track comes in, but then it also chucks in all of the Nile weirdness in there with it, and it doesn't sound like Nile taking a holiday from being Nile. It just sounds like Nile showing they can basically do whatever the fuck they want, and I absolutely love it. Oh man, that track is also sick, also wicked. The title track with the female vocal where she sort of sounds a bit like she's underwater, like, that's really cool. It kind of unsettles you a bit, makes you feel a bit seasick and queasy. And then you listen to like Lament for the Destruction of Time, and I kind of sit there and I'm like, fuck me, I didn't realize that Malev were as influenced by Nile as they are.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you definitely hear that. Definitely, man. That Eastern flair.
Yeah. It's the Phrygian scale. I was like trying to Google what's the Egyptian guitar scale, and I spent a lot of time trying to. It's a Phrygian, you know, like that sort of like that classic, like, yeah. It's called the Phrygian or the Phrygian scale. I think it might be Phrygian scale, but it's that. But I kind of thought like, okay, so that's what Nile is, but that's just. It's kind of
you thought it was that point plus blast beats, and that's
essentially what I thought Nile was. But I was like, that's like the starting point, and then everywhere, and then they just go anywhere that they bloody want to on top of that. Like, yeah, man, this record absolutely rips. It absolutely rips. It's amazing.
It's quite the undertaking, but oh my god,
there's quite a lot
deliver.
Of it.
It's a big album, but it's something you don't want to turn off. They've just got such an adept sort of mastery of delivering punishment and storytelling in equal measures. It's just the majesty and force of it all is just a wonder to behold, mate. It's absolutely fantastic. None of it feels bloated.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Nothing
of it feels like it's outstayed. None of the ideas outstay their welcome. And it's kind of
they understay their welcome, if anything.
Potentially they understay. And when you're in the middle of what's almost like a 9-minute song, you'd never usually say that. You can never usually say, "Oh, I wanted a bit more of that." Like, but you can with this record, and it's kind of built in a way where, like, the more drawn out, more sort of progressive moves are towards the back end of the record. So I feel like it's almost designed so you can whack it on and you can listen to like the first sort of 6 songs and they're like really fast and hard and hectic. And, you know, maybe you run out of time and you've got to go, you know, cut the grass or whatever. You've got a job to do. You've got to go do something. So you can enjoy that opening, like, really fast, hard, heavy. But then when you've got time to sit down and really like listen to the whole thing, it kind of rewards you by giving you these more progressive and like experimental ideas in the back end of it. Like, it's a really awesome, really well put together record, and it makes me want to go and really get stuck right into the Nile back catalogue properly.
Mate, get stuck in. It's such a great place to go. You're going to love it. You're going to absolutely.
It's probably going to have to be like around Christmas time, just because there's so much going on in the schedule that I'm going to have to focus on. But like, when I get into that Christmas period and I go like, right, I can listen to some tunes now. It's Nile.
Gonna lay down by
really
the fire.
Digging into Nile. Yeah, man. It's gonna be a weird Christmas, but it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, smash a Baileys and get Carl Sanders on.
Absolutely. Punching a mince pie whilst worshipping Anubis. Oh man.
Yeah, so yeah, like, cannot stress enough. If you've never got into Nile, if you've thought that maybe it is a bit of an undertaking, don't just jump in with this album. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
And I can't imagine it won't endear you to just go and check out the rest of their stuff. It's a fantastic record from a band that have been doing it for ages. Like, what an achievement! Like,
92, I think they formed.
Fucking amazing.
a band from 1992 sound this incredible in 2024 is balmy. I'd love to see a list of the bands that formed in 1992 and what they sound like now and compare it. Like, that's something I probably should have done in advance and thought about. But like, that would be, I just think that would be a right joke. Yeah, the record's called The Underworld Awaits Us All. It's by Nile. It comes out on Friday. It's phenomenal. Make sure you listen to it. Oh, dude. It's difficult to follow anything up after that Nile record, but your son did decide to be birthed into the world at the release of a very good album that I was really excited about talking about. So I'm going to talk about it now. I'm definitely going to get in there and do it. Have you had you've had a chance to listen to the Trench record, right?
Oh, bro, I'm ready for this, bro. I'm fucking all in, dude.
Hell yeah.
I am all in,
oh,
mate.
Let's Trench, go. 5-piece metalcore band from Calgary in Alberta, Canada. The new album's called Between Inverted Worlds, or Between Inverted Worlds, as it's written down on the... Sorry. Nick's probably like, what the fuck's going on? She's like in there watching Love is Blind or something. She's like, what are you doing? It came out on the 16th of August through New Damage Records. Trench are a band that we have definitely talked about plenty of times on the podcast. I remember when Blossom came out in 2020, when we were deep in the heart of lockdown. And we talked about it on the show, and I just remember us thinking, like, these guys definitely really like Misery Signals. Like, this is a really good record, and they really, really, really like Misery Signals. And like, fair play, like, who doesn't like Misery Signals? Like, fingers crossed. I'm hopefully going to go and see them play their last ever UK show on Friday. Fingers crossed, if I can pull it off.
Hell yes.
I've got a ticket, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. But I'm ever hopeful. But you know, Misery Signals are a legendary band, but their sound is very distinct. And if you're copying Misery Signals, it's pretty obvious pretty quickly. So
yeah, if you come for the king, you better not miss, bro.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Like, it's just a difficult. It's like when someone's like, "Oh, these guys sound a bit like Metallica." Like, they sound a lot like Metallica, don't they? Like, there's not a lot of bands out there that sound a bit like Metallica, and it's just difficult. So I was so glad when I first heard like the kind of the EP that was kind of the first few singles from this record, and I was just like, "Oh, hello." Trench have found something.
They're not actually on this record, are they?
Yeah. There's like a chunk. The first 4 tracks was like that EP that they put out.
Oh, sorry, it was, wasn't it? That was actually okay. All right, sorry.
Oh, you might be thinking that. I think there was another EP maybe last year, which was like separate to this. Am I right, or am I completely wrong?
I think I'm an idiot. No, I think I'm a moron. Ignore me.
It's all good, man. I'll let you off. But like, yeah, when I first heard that, I was like, oh, like Trench have just gone straight monstrous.
This is balmy, mate. This is metalcore from the future, bro.
Yes.
It's straight from the future,
absolutely.
Mate. It's like somebody heard Harm's Way, Slipknot, and just went to the future. Like, do you know what I feel about this record? I feel like what they're doing is that I feel like there's a bit of a void for this in the lack of vein. So. In the lack of vein.
It's kind of the lack of vein, and then the sort of the movement towards more mainstream sounding of Code Orange has kind of created this gap where people want this kind of industrial, electronically infused, but actually properly really heavy metalcore. And there's not a lot of other bands, you know, there's other bands having a go. Like, I hear, like, you know, I listen to it and I kind of think like, oh, there's a bit of like Soulkeeper, a bit of what they do or going on in here. There's a bit of Vatican, but Vatican are obviously got more like melodic style at the same time. Like, there's little bits of stuff that I hear that I recognize from other places, but Trench have just found a way to make it like just sound like the end of the fucking world. Like, it's so good. It's so hard.
This record's 22 minutes.
It's perfect length, isn't it?
And it puts thousands of bands to fucking shame. It's the amount it gets done for the amount of time it does not take up is ridiculous, to be honest. Like, it's incredibly heavy, it's incredibly chaotic, it's incredibly like overwhelming, right? I love it's kind of like taken like sort of like Vane, like what Vane do, but then they've just added like this, the level of production and industrial stuff, like the level of production's like that of like a deathcore band.
Yeah, I've got a term
it's just
for it.
Immense.
I've got a term for it. I'm going to call it the acacia vein. Do you know what I mean?
Mate.
It's
yeah,
that
bro.
big, thick chunkiness that, or like knock loose, maybe. Like it's just that chunkiness that they've got in there, which, like bands who do this kind of thing, maybe they're generally a bit more scrappy, and these guys are just
100%.
really hefty, and it works so well.
Yeah, like they are, you know, sort of what draws you to stuff like LLNN and Mass Worship and stuff, where they're doing, where sonically they're kind of like, they sound, or musically, sorry, rather, they're a sort of different sort of bands that you can draw lines to and stuff, but the level of production just takes them and puts them completely in their own little separate unit where they're just the absolute bollocks. It's fantastic, mate. This thing is so cool. There's some great features on the record. Like,
dude.
I mean, we talked about how it's basically unfair for that single to have City in Colour, like to have old Dallas Greensies on it. Like, that's ridiculous, isn't it? If you don't have I don't know if you should be allowed to have him on your TV. If you don't have a singer, it's genuinely unfair to just get Dallas Green in, because he's in so much of that
Stevie
track,
Wonder to come and be on your song or something, isn't it? It's just not on. It's just not on. It's just out of line, and that song is absolutely fabulous.
Fit for an Autopsy are going to need to have fucking Enya on the next record, or something, can't they? Because it's just so unfair. He comes and he absolutely smashes it, and then they do make that song themselves as well. They do go back to it.
That's the thing. It's not like it's not a City in Colour track with some electronics on it or whatever. Like, it's got a lot of really hard hitting moments. It's just got that massive like middle part where it's just he just comes in, and they really like lean into him as well, where they start doing sort of the twinkly lead parts and stuff. But then they have that when it's that like in the middle of his chorus. Like, it's so cool the way that they do it.
It's such a gift for fans of Dallas Green in general. This track is just an absolute gift, isn't it, to get him in?
Yeah, but then also you've got Matey from Comeback Kid.
Shit.
He sounds incredible. He sounds like a wild animal at the end of that track.
He sounds so brilliant. His highs are fucking nasty, aren't they?
Yeah, you kind of never, you don't really think about it, that how much of a hard vocalist he actually is. But I always think, of that as like Stray from the Path track on Rising Sun, where he came in and he's like, oh, hello. You just kind of forget that the Matey from Comeback Kid's actually like a savage vocalist, because of their register that he generally uses in Comeback Kid is quite singular, but actually he's like a badass. And then is it Magnus from Cult of Luna as well? I think it's Magnus, isn't it? I think this guy's name's Magnus Persson, something like that. But when he comes, he's also got his surname's actually Persson.
Oh, I think his name's Tony Man.
Tony Bloke Man.
Jeremiah Geese.
But because the thing is, the band are so focused on the low end, aren't they? Like, you know, there's a throaty low end vocal, like the kick pedal is really heavily influenced, it pushed forward in the mix. The bass is really heavily pushed forward in the mix. Like, it's all really focused on the low end. And then Matey from Cult of Luna has basically got one of the most like throaty, bellowy like screams you've ever heard. He's a perfect combination for the band that you would never think of. You never go, you know what? I'd love to hear Trench have a track with Matey from Cult of Luna. That'd be really good.
I know.
It's spot on. But it's kind of all three of the guest spots have that similar thing where you'd never.
All four of the guest spots. You
what one have I forgotten?
Wake.
Oh shit! Yeah, I forgot Matey from Wake. Damn it!
I guess that's Kyle from Wake. Like, the thing is, there's definitely like a vocal like right at the beginning of the track. I wonder if that's him. And then he it feels like he sort of comes in and he's a bit sort of layered up, so it's hard to pick him out. But I mean, it sounds sick as fuck.
Yeah, dude, it all sounds really good. And like this record, you always get to enjoy it as two records, because I listen to it in the car at like a lower volume, and you get a lot, like you can listen to it at full volume, which is obviously the optimum way to listen to it, and it's just all out destruction. But if you turn it kind of halfway, you can hear a lot more of the sort of the nuance and the textures and stuff that's kind of going on in there as well, and all
nuance
the little subtleties. There's a lot of it in there. Like you wouldn't like all the little sort of the electronic work, and there's a lot of like lead guitar parts. I always, what, how much I love "Say Hello to Sunshine" by Finch. Right, it's one of my all-time favorite records. And it's like two albums. It's the album you listen to out loud and the album you listen to in headphones. Because when you listen to it in headphones, there's so much like creepy atmospheric stuff going on inside the record. And this has almost got a similar kind of vibe to it, but you don't really get it unless you scoop the volume a little bit, and then you lose some of the really harsh, heavy top end, and you just discover all of this extra stuff going on under there. Like it's a quite a accomplished record considering how just devastatingly heavy it is.
Oh, massively. It really goes all over the place. Like, My Cold Blood, that track does, it's good that the Cult of Luna Gears is on it because it proper captures that sort of sci-fi post-metal sort of scale. I love like when the synthesizer's like pulsing in there.
Yeah, dude.
It's fantastic. I love Final Odyssey, like that track sort of the way it finishes almost is like a post-black metal meets melodic hardcore kind of vibe. Like
it's got a bit of that
Blossom.
sort of Poison the Welly kind ofness to it, and I also find it hilarious. Called Final Odyssey, and it's not the last track on the record. I really enjoy
it's
that
pretty funny.
Well.
It is pretty funny, and I love that they've got Blossom 3 already.
Yeah,
this is like their second album, and they've got a third track. Like it took Metallica ages to get to Unforgiven.
Yeah, how many years it take Metallica to get their trilogy done? Unforgiven.
They've smashed it.
Is there a fourth
They've smashed
part?
it in about 14 minutes of music. Yeah, and like I say, like it's 22 minutes. It's so visceral and alive and sort of explosive, and it feels like when you've listened to it, you feel like you've listened to something much longer. You feel like you know them much more. It is fucking really dynamic and cool, and
dude.
like just them sort of not fucking about, not having any fat on the album, is amazing. And there are things in there though, it's only 22, but there's little outros and little intros, and like it's not all just songs, and it's mad to think that they even fit all that in under 22 minutes.
Where's the space for it? Mate. But they make it work, and it does have like a really good level of world building in it, despite the fact that it's over so quickly. Which again, like coming back to your comparison to Vane, like that's something that Vane are really good at too, and it's incredible.
Interestingly, almost the same length as the other record. Blossom is 22 minutes.
Was
so
it really?
Maybe that's just their thing.
That. Yeah, that must just be it. Maybe 22. There's a significance to the number 22.
Maybe.
Or is it 23? It's the number 23 is the one that's significant, isn't it? The old the conspiracy theory number 23. Is that right?
I don't know. What's 23?
You've not seen that Jim Carrey film, the number 20? Is it I'm sure it's the number 23, where he just becomes obsessed with the number 23.
Mental.
Is this like, yeah, that's it.
Gets well into the number 23.
You just make all their odds exactly 23 minutes.
I'm so glad you mentioned that movie.
I remember it being really good. I've not watched it in a long time. I don't know if it's like actually really flawed and rubbish, but I just remember really enjoying it. I've only seen it the once, and it must have been 10 years ago, maybe more. I remember it being sick.
I well forgot about that movie. That's sick. I'm so glad you said that.
Anyway, yeah, Trench, mate, absolutely awesome. The record's
Barnstormer.
Barnstormer is a good word. It's the sound of the computers taking over the world. Watch out, they're coming for you. Between Inverted Worlds, it's incredible. It's incredible. Amazing record. Yeah, dude. Did you get a chance to listen to Gumskab, or kind of should we call it an AOR?
No, you go.
AOR.
You tell me how brilliant Gumskab is, Gary.
Go off, King. Right? That's what the kids say, isn't it? So Gumskab.
Let him cook. That's a thing that they say.
Is it? I'll take your word for it. You're the one who's on TikTok, not me.
I'm not TikToking. I'm just looking. I'm not
of course. You're not what's the word? You're not interacting, you're just observing, yeah. So that makes it okay.
I'm just lurking.
Just lurking hard. You're not doing like what do they call them, duets? Is that what they call it? When you
I'm not
basically just
duetting. I haven't done any NPC live streams yet. I haven't done any unboxings, you know.
Oh, now's the time. Now you're gonna have to become a dadfluencer, mate. It's time to make it happen.
Yeah, I think I might try. I think I might pivot fully into an unbearable dad influencer.
I look forward to it. But yeah, Gumskab. They're a 5-piece hardcore band from Maine. This is kind of like, it's called Cut Your Teeth. It's kind of their most sort of complete release to date. It's a 7-track EP. I mean, I've talked about this band quite a lot in the last sort of year or so. I'm really keen on them. I think they're really cool. And this is easily the best thing that they've put out so far. Like, it's got the most solid production. Like, it sounds expensive, man. It's got a real good weight to it, and it's definitely the best set of songs that they've ever written.
Give us a little FFO, Gary. Who are they FFO?
FFO. Oh, so it's got the weight of a sort of a Knocked Loose or something like that in places, but then also it's really fast and scrappy hardcore. Like actually talking about Comeback Kid earlier, like I think if you were into Comeback Kid and that kind of side of hardcore, you could get behind it. Like they get to the point where they almost hit like power violence in certain places, but then also, you know, they make all of the moves that the mosh pit would demand. Like there'll be the 2 steps are all there, you know, the big D beat sections, but then they also have like those moments where you know where people like run backwards and forwards up and down the mosh pit and crash into the people on the edges. Like, oh, it's really fun to do this in your office chair. Actually, it's just got all of those moments. That's not the best FFO ever. You kind of put me on the spot there. I hadn't really thought about like bands specifically, but it's got old school hardcore vibes, but with a modern kind of thick, heavy twist to it, and swagger for fucking days, man. Like they sound so cool, which is really ironic considering that one of the lyrics in the first track is "This isn't for the cool kids." Like there's a bit, it's like the lyrics so cool. It's like, this was never for the cool kids. This isn't for the fucking in crowd. Like it's just, I think it's a song that's kind of a commentary on hardcore in general, rather than like trying to suggest that they're not cool. Like it's more like, oh, hardcore's like a community for outcasts, and I don't want it to be kind of infected by like try hard people trying to look cool and posing around, and you know, going back to like when we were teenagers and the scene and all that kind of shit. Like they don't want that to be the thing anymore, and they're Larry and they're pissed. They are really, really pissed. Like literally the first thing that happens on the whole EP is someone shouts "Gumskab."
Nice. That's
Who
what we
doesn't
need.
love that? Who doesn't love
Who
that?
doesn't
Like,
love a band shouting their own name?
no, and it's the first thing that happens. Like goes da 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 da, Gumskab. Like it's so hard, and yeah, it's incredible. Like there's so many great mosh cool moments. Like pull the fucking hammer back and let it go. That's a banger. Or my personal favorite, which is "You fucking scumbag." Well, that's one of the best mosh calls I've heard all year. That's absolutely cracking.
Nice.
It's
like
so
that.
good. There's loads of guests. I'm not too aware of a lot of the bands and who the guests are, but there's a song called Slipknot, and there's a guy from a band called Blood Tithe, and he's got one of the best verses of the whole record, which opens with the line, "Every single waking moment, swing your fist into my face," which is just, it's just great. It's just great.
Fantastic. Who don't want that?
Who doesn't want that? Exactly. But they give the title, it's really fun. They give the title of the EP to the guy doing guest vocals as well, which is really good. You know, when there's like, it's sort of sprinkled somewhere in the lyrics to the record, and you've got to kind of look, it's like a little Easter egg hunt, and they give it to a guest vocalist. And then they come to the last track. And do you remember the band Cruel Hand? Are you aware of the band Cruel Hand? They were sort of like a hardcore band, but with a little bit of that melodic, punky twist, like maybe a little bit of a Wilhelm screamy kind of edge to them.
I remember that name.
Yeah, so I think the guy, I think he's the vocalist from Cruel Hand, actually recorded the EP, and he's also a guest on the track, and he throws in like a chorus into the last track, and it works so well. Like it's just got this, it's like a really like rousing punk energy, like full throat, like not gang chant. It's maybe the two of them together, but it has that like that
It's a
mob,
two-man gang.
like it's a 2-man gang. What
It's
you
a
know, you can
two-man
have a
gang.
2-man gang. No one said
You
that there
could
was a
be-
rule
we're
on
a
how many
gang,
people could
basically.
be in a gang.
Yeah.
We're a gang. Me and you, we're a gang. Max, he can join our gang as we'll be a 3-man gang. When he's once he gets to about 14, maybe we'll go and like mug some grannies or something. I don't know. We won't.
No, I might just start him on some light egging.
Yeah, that's probably a good way. Stink bombs or something like that. Yeah, let's start off light. Let's build up to mugging grannies. Yeah, let's not get carried away.
I might have to egg your ass with him just to get because
Halloween, come round and do it, mate. Feel free. I'll send you the bill from the window cleaner. But yeah, anyway, this Gumskab EP, it's just cracking, man. Like it's been a really, really big year for EPs. Some of my favorite things that have come out this year have been EPs, and I would put this cut your teeth by Gumskab up there with it, man. It's really energetic, but it's also really heavy. It's really pissed off, but it's also really fun. Like it's a great combination of vibes and feels. And yeah, I'd really strongly recommend you go check it out. Who doesn't want the vibes and the feels? And also, they've just put out it's probably a bit late for us now, but they've just put out a line of summer merch, including towels, beach towels.
Nice.
They're not shipping to the UK, but I messaged them saying like, I really want one. Can you ship me to the UK? Like it's a shirt, it's a tie-dye shirt, and on the back it's got a picture of the Grim Reaper on a sun lounger. It's absolutely brilliant, and it just says "Summer of Scab," and I really want it.
Yes.
So I messaged him. I was like, "Guys,
that's
ship
pretty,
UK,
pretty perfect garden centre casual. That is
absolutely." Like I thought you could wear that on holiday. No one would even know that it was a hardcore band merch, which is great because you look a bit of a twat when you're on the beach in a black t-shirt. So I am always trying to collect things that are band shirts that I could wear on holiday, and that would be spot on. That would go right there with my yellow planet shit.
I reckon you're going to be
shirt.
Next time you're on the beach, you're going to be in a full Nile long sleeve. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to be like that guy we saw at Fortress with the battle
making a little
dressing
sphinx.
Gown, making pyramids out of the sand, just on the beach, making pyramids out of the sand.
But like, look, Nick, that's my best,
look,
my best pyramid yet. That is.
Look it. No. Well, I've been listening to the Bangles on repeat. Walk like an Egyptian. Yeah, man. I'm actually going on holiday in October, so I might actually do that. That might happen. I am going to listen to Nile on the beach, and I'm going to love every minute. Oh, hello, Jay.
Brilliant.
Moving in here. I've been getting really enthusiastic.
Big ups, Jay.
He's just... You can't see him. He's too low down, but he's here.
I saw him a little bit when he's a bit further back. I can see the wagging of a tail.
Sorry, I wanted YouTube content. Me kissing my dog. I apologise.
That's all right, mate. Get the algorithm right up there.
Oh, get that dog content involved there. Hashtag dog. That'll be the first thing that I tag on this episode. Speaking of algorithms, maybe give us a little like, a little subscribe. Maybe
yes,
tell your
that would
friends
be nice
about
if you
us.
wanted to.
That would be really fun. That'd be really cool. We'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
This has been
come
great,
to the socials.
son. I've really enjoyed it.
Me too, mate. It's been nice. It's been very nice to come to be back chatting riffs with you, mate. It's been a very mental time in my life, so I've really enjoyed just having this lovely little chat with you, Gary.
Yeah.
Sipping a
Just like
really
a little oasis,
phenomenally
of
cold
calm.
Stella.
Oh, jealous, mate.
Talking about riffs.
Yeah.
One of life's great beauties.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about some more riffs, or have you got a nappy to change?
I don't have any more riffs to talk about.
Disappointed. No, neither do I.
Unless
next week we've got.
I've been watching a load of just off topic. I've been watching a load of. There's this geezer called A Darker Standard, and he makes loads of really good videos on stuff. Specifically, I've been watching his like Metallica content, and he just sort of like talks about the records and talks about what was happening at the time. So basically, I watched this I think it was only probably about 35 minutes, but it was really good. It was just it's about Metallica making Load and Reload, because obviously that was such a mental thing that happened like when they made it, because obviously they coming off the back of the Black Album like being absolutely huge, and then they're making Load and Reload so they set out to make a double album like with Load and Reload, and like the the thinking is that really they should have just distilled all of those into like one really
like,
good album instead of doing that. So I've been thinking like I want to like make a little load and reload combo playlist. If you can just like have I can't remember
figure
how
out
much
your
is on,
version of
what the ultimate load is.
Yeah.
I
like that.
So I was thinking about doing that next time I have some time to myself. I've just been listening to old Machine Head.
Dude.
I was on YouTube and their show it's like a live set from like Dynamo Festival in like 1995 or something. And
cool.
It's just fucking brilliant. I listened to that with Max this morning and he loved it. Oh, I've been showing him riffs.
Getting him on the riffs early, yes.
Yeah.
Official world's youngest heaviest.
I can confirm that the first band he heard was Kubla Khan.
Oh, good boy. Good boy.
And he seems to enjoy it. He seemed to enjoy it. I was bouncing him around. He was loving it. He didn't kick off. He really liked it. Showed him a bit of Knock Loose, bit of Dare Side. He's listened to He's listened to Nile now. He's listening to I mean, I'm listening to it and he's there. He's listening to Machine Head. He's on a good path.
Do you reckon he'll want to come a Bloodstock with us next year to see Machine Head?
But I don't know. Next year might be a push, but certainly Bloodstock 35 or whatever.
Amazing. Right, Doody. We should probably wrap it up. Otherwise, we could just be here all day.
Should bugger off. It's really nice to come back and have a nice big chat. I reckon we'll move forward as if we're going to do a podcast next week. If that can't happen, I will make a sincere apology. And
I might just sit here and talk about Throne on my own if you're not around next week.
It's Throne, isn't it? Give us a little. What is knocking about next week, Gary? Is it?
Oh, hang on a second. Let me have a. I should have had the file open. I've fucked up here, mate. Sorry. There's isn't it Nails? Is that next week? Yeah.
Ooh.
Next week's Nails, mate. Nails and Throne. That is what is on the agenda next week.
Sick.
It's a big week.
Concrete wins.
Yes, and Concrete wins. There's a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's quite a large week actually. It's quite a large week. We're going to have to definitely make some tough decisions on what to cover. But yeah, there's some great records coming out. After that, we've got the Depths record, which I'm really excited about. There's just so much good shit coming out.
Goes absolutely nuts.
And do you know what? It's a bank holiday, isn't it? So I don't really go back to work till Tuesday. So it'll be ridiculous for me to say that I can't pull a podcast together before next Wednesday.
So we'll see you next week then, I guess.
We'll see you next week for Riffs.
Love you all.
Love you. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Press the wrong button.